My name is Celeste Rowan, and tonight I am standing in a ballroom I spent 3 months building from scratch. White orchids frame the stage. Crystal lights drip like frozen stars. Custom velvet ribbons match the invitation suite I designed myself. A 16-piece dessert table waits for candles and applause that will never come. At 6:02 p.m., my phone buzzes. A video message. I expect we're on our way, or at least are running late. Instead, I hear laughter, bright, careless, expensive. My mother's voice floats through the speakers, syrup sweet and distant, and then a champagne pop echoes behind her. Paris! They are in Paris! Piper lifts a glittering flute toward the camera, Eiffel Tower sparkling behind her like a joke told at my expense. We just wanted to keep you busy, she says, smiling like this is cute, like my effort was a toy they gifted themselves. Busy. Like my time is disposable. Like I am disposable. A slow warmth rises in my chest. Not anger clarity. I look around at the room I built, the place settings with hand-tied bows, the playlist I curated to make her feel magical. Everything here was crafted with devotion they never planned to honor. I close the message. No reply. No tears. I tuck my phone into my clutch and let the stillness settle. 3 months of work, 1,000 details, and they abandoned it for a photo op ocean away. If their intention was to keep me busy, they succeeded. They kept me busy learning exactly how much I mattered to them. And now that I know, I also know something else. This event will not go to waste. Tonight will still happen, just not the way they imagined. Growing up in the Rowan house meant learning your role before you knew yourself. Piper floated through childhood in pink dresses and sparkly shoes, rooms brightening as she entered. She was adored, camera-ready, the favorite. I wasn't sparkles or confetti. I read manuals, not magazines. While Piper practiced her pageant wave, I tied cables for school plays and built color-coded schedules no one thanked me for. My mother called it helpful. My father said responsible, never special. At dinners, praise flowed toward Piper. My straight A's got a nod. Her 1,000 likes earned champagne. She was the sun. I was gravity essential unseen. It wasn't resentment that shaped me, but repetition. My mother's lists instead of affection. My father's tasks instead of trust. Compliments that came with chores. Love that needed proving. Sometimes I watched Piper's glittering world and wondered what it felt like to be chosen without earning it to sit at the table, not just set it. So I mastered order rooms, timelines, expectations. Event planning felt like purpose, the art of creating magic even if no one saw the magician. That's why when my parents asked me to plan Piper's Sweet 16, I said yes with hope, disguised as professionalism. Maybe this time they'd see me. But as I placed the last orchid in its vase tonight, even before the message from Paris arrived, something inside already knew. You can't choreograph love into existence, not even with perfect lighting. The first week I planned Piper's party, I treated it like a quiet dream of my own. Not chandeliers or glitter, just the hope that this time they'd see me not what I could do for them. I covered my wall with sketches and color swatches, gold pearl, soft blush, warm lights, acoustic music instead of noise. I pitched it like a client proposal, hands steady, heart trembling. They nodded, distracted, but said yes. Approval thin, but enough. I built a mood board, a budget, a plan. When Piper wrinkled her nose. Add a champagne wall, a neon sign. I smiled. I could make anything happen. That's what they'd taught me. Effort equals value, perfection equals love. So I worked vendor calls on lunch breaks, taste tests after shifts. My friend Julian helped review contracts. Brow furrowed when I mentioned using my LLC. Add a repurpose clause, he warned. Protect yourself. I laughed. They won't flake. He didn't laugh back. Piper floated between fittings and aesthetics like attention was air. Midnight texts. This one. Never please. Never thanks. I replied every time. It felt good, useful, included, chosen, even if by convenience. My parents' praise came as orders. Make it elevated. Keep it classy. Classy, the family religion. I told myself it was worth it, that if I made it perfect, they'd finally see me. But hope, like any event, is built on illusion. You think you're creating beauty until you realize you've designed the perfect space for heartbreak to echo. The morning everything cracked didn't announce itself with thunder. It was ordinary Texas sun spilling across my kitchen counter, coffee brewing checklist in front of me like a loyal soldier. Day of the event. The final stretch. I smoothed the timeline one last time, checked vendor confirmations, and packed my emergency kit, safety pins, tape backup, USB, with the slideshow 2 phone chargers, breath mints. Little things keep big things from falling apart. I arrived at the ballroom, early heels soft against marble. Staff greeted me by name. I loved that being recognized for competence instead of compliance. Rosa, the venue manager, walked the space with me. We talked lighting angles, floral placement, load-in times. She trusted me. I earned that. At noon, I texted my mom. "Everything is ready. See you soon." No reply. I shrugged. They were probably busy getting dolled up. Piper needed 3 hours for makeup alone. By 2 p.m., vendors buzzed around like a symphony tuning before the big moment. The cake arrived, 3 tiers of ivory fondant. The string lights flickered on for testing. The sound tech played the intro track for the father-daughter dance. It was stupid, but my chest tightened. That moment, I thought maybe I'd finally see my father look proud. At 4 p.m., Pipa hadn't sent her usual flurry of demands. Unusual, but I assumed Glam was keeping her occupied. I triple-checked the seating chart instead. At 5 p.m., I put on my dress in the bathroom. Soft satin, simple neckline. Nothing loud. My mother always said dignity whispers. I guess I learned that better than she realized. 600 p.m. The ballroom glowed. Staff lined up. I stood near the entrance, smoothing my skirt, clutching the binder I built like it was armor. 6:02 p.m. My phone vibrated. A video call. Finally. Their faces appeared framed not by the entrance I decorated, but by golden Paris twilight. Laughter spilled through the speaker. My mother waved like she was on a talk show. My father lifted a glass. Piper blew a kiss red lipstick perfect. "We just wanted to keep you busy," Mom said, like dropping poison in honey. "It's good for you. Helps you stay productive." Busy. Not appreciated. Not included. Just managed. The screen glittered with Eiffel Tower lights, but something inside me snapped like a wire pulled too tight. My breath didn't rush. It froze. Quiet. Pure. The chandelier above me shimmered. The music test track faded. Vendors waited for direction. And I understood they didn't forget me. They dismissed me. I lowered the phone, and for the first time, silence didn't feel like defeat. It felt like a fuse being lit. I didn't cry. I didn't shake. Calm settled over me like truth. My body finally understood it didn't need to beg for crumbs it could stand and eat elsewhere. Rosa approached. "Are they running late?" "They're not coming." No pity. Just a nod. Repurpose clause. Repurpose clause. The words steadied me. Julian had warned me to include it if client is a no-show event may be reassigned. What once felt like insurance now felt like power. I texted Julian. "They're not coming. We're flipping it," he replied instantly. "Say less. On my way." I recorded a short clip, voice steady. "Hey, Austin. I have a room full of magic and no one to give it to. If you know any foster teens who deserve a night to feel celebrated, tonight is theirs." 6 seconds later, it exploded shares, volunteers, donations. The kind of kindness that waits for someone brave enough to ask. When Julian arrived, the ballroom glowed the same, but felt different alive. "Backup dresses," he said, handing me a bag. "If this goes viral, phones will die." It already did, I smiled. We repurposed everything lights, music, decor. At 7:03 p.m., the first girl walked in holding her foster mom's hand. "Is this for us?" "Yes," I said. "Tonight is yours." More arrived awkward suits, borrowed gowns, joy too big for words. Volunteers, tied ribbons, passed donuts, a DJ showed up for free. Real laughter replaced the hollow kind my family preferred. Then my phone rang. "Mom, how dare you use Piper's night for charity?" she snapped. I watched 2 kids take their first ballroom photo. "How dare you make me think I mattered and then leave me alone in a ballroom?" Dad barked orders. Piper screamed. I hung up. Their absence used to ache. Tonight it felt like space filled with something better. They hadn't broken me. They'd freed me. By 8 o'clock, the ballroom felt weightless, as if grief had stepped outside to smoke and joy seized the moment to move in. Kids danced in circles, shoes abandoned near the walls, laughter ricocheting like music itself. Someone started a conga line. Someone else cried quietly in a corner, overwhelmed, and one of the volunteers sat beside her, holding her hand until she could breathe again. That was the moment I realized a thing I had never understood growing up in my family. Celebration shouldn't be earned. It should never be conditional. It should be given simply because someone exists and deserves to feel seen. Piper never learned that. My parents certainly didn't. At 8:22 p.m., Rosa waved me over. Security let me know your parents are here. I didn't flinch. They entered the ballroom like they owned oxygen, dressed in designer coats, faces tight with anger and fear of public embarrassment, the Rowan family's true religion. My father strode toward me. We need to talk. Now. Actually, I said, nodding to the teens I'm working. This is our event, Piper hissed, eyes cutting toward the dance floor. Turn off the music. Stop this. Right now. A boy near us froze mid-spin, fear flickering over his face. My chest tightened, muscle memory from childhood. But then Julian appeared, stepping beside me like a shield. This venue was legally repurposed, he said calmly, holding the contract. She has authority. Dad snatched the paper, scanning it. Rage sharpened his jaw. You manipulated us. I met his eyes. I protected myself. That's what you always told me, be prepared. Mom crossed her arms. Celeste, be reasonable. We paid for this. I motioned to the room. And I used it. Just not for another photo shoot about Piper's perfection. Piper lunged to grab the mic from the DJ booth. Julian intercepted her like it was choreographed. Don't, he warned softly. You don't want this to go viral for the wrong reasons. Too late. Phones were already out. The internet sees everything, but more importantly, so do teenagers who know injustice when they feel it. My mother's voice cut low and shaking. You embarrassed this family, I exhaled. No. You did when you decided a trip to Paris mattered more than your daughter. Silence coated the room thick and cold. Then a girl in a silver dress whispered loud enough for everyone, I wish someone threw me a party like this. I felt something warm rise in my throat, unfamiliar but steady. Not pride, not revenge. Belonging. My parents turned and walked out. They didn't slam the doors. They didn't scream. They simply left the same way they always did, only this time I didn't chase after them. This wasn't abandonment. This was exit. After they left, the room felt lighter, like someone had opened a window in a house long sealed. Music swelled again, timid then bold as laughter returned and the night stitched itself back together. Joy, fragile yet fierce, refused to die. I watched from the side, glitter spinning kids clutching paper crowns, volunteers hugging strangers. A girl in pink heels approached with a cupcake topped by a sparkler. For you, she said, for making us feel like we mattered. No camera, no applause. Just sincerity so pure it steadied me. I tasted it sweet, simple, real. Like relief. Like reclamation. Julian nudged me. You okay? Better, I said. I stopped asking the wrong people to clap. He smiled. Family isn't who builds you, it's who shows up when you build yourself. At 10 p.m., the kids formed a circle, LED candles glowing. They shared hopes, safety, college, someone to stay. Their voices trembled but didn't break. In that room once built from abandonment, they built promise instead. When the lights dimmed, I placed Piper's name card on the stage. Not as pain, but proof. A bookmark in the story where I became the author, not the assistant. I didn't lose a sister or parents tonight. I lost illusions, the kind that keep you small to keep others comfortable. Outside, the Texas night hummed warm and forgiving. I stepped into it, shoulders back. I didn't need applause. I didn't need permission. I built belonging where there was none, and in doing so finally belonged to myself. I didn't waste a night. I rebuilt one. And in the quiet after the music faded, I understood the real victory. I didn't get even. I got free.